everyone, and welcome back to Punters Inside Run. I'm your host, Simon O'Donnell. Not for long, just standing in for Matty Campbell, who is enjoying a very well-earned break. With me for the second show of the year, of course, is Mick Sharkie. There's no show without punch. Mick, welcome to you.
Thank you, Simon.
And James Lamb from punters.com.au. James, welcome.
Good to be here, Simon.
It's a fresh year, isn't it? We're up and about, ready to go.
Relatively so, off the back of the Gold Coast.
Yeah, well, that probably could have been a bit tiring for some people. But coming up, racing returns to the Valley. We'll find a winner in the Carrington Stakes up there in Randwick, and all the tips and best bets in the big call. But first, Friday night racing, James, is at Flemington, and you're a man on the spot. Rapid racing, every 30 minutes, one will be dashing up the straight. What do you like?
Look, it's always a pretty tough meeting, this one. Straight races are pretty difficult at the best of times, and we've got all straight races across the card. So, look, big fields, but I like one in race 3, number 4, Jet Jitsu, at an each-way quote around the sort of $8.59 mark. Been an absolute revelation for Andrew Bobbin since joining that stable. 7 starts for Bobbin for 3 wins and 3 minor placings. Only miss came over 1400, and all his form suggested he just doesn't run 1400. 1300 is his limit. Comes back to his pet distance here, 1200, and I think he's drawn well. You want a middle gate, I think, in these races. Jockeys get to decide where they want to go, inside or out. My only real knock is that he's pretty deep into his prep, but just got to trust Bobbin that he's kept him ticking along nicely.
I remember seeing him early in his prep, maidens and 58s, and he was ripping home in those races. I think, that's a nice turn of foot for a horse at that level, but he's maintained that closing speed as he stepped up through the grades, which is pretty hard to do.
Yeah, I think the only time he hasn't shown that sort of finale was over 1400. So back to 1200, just keep him coiled up and let him rip the last 200.
Every 30 minutes a bit quick for you, Shark, or do you like something?
Get it over and done with, Simon. Get it over and done with nice and quickly. But I don't mind Pink Cashmere in race 5 down towards the bottom. Easy winner of a maiden at Ballarat Synthetic back in, I think it was October. Then they gave her a couple of months between runs, and she was hard in the market at the Valley. Just caught wide there behind a pretty good horse, I think, in Rich Fortune. Forgive that run down the straight. She'll be in the first sort of third of the field. I think she'll run really well.
Go Friday night at Flemington, Saturday at the Valley. Let's have a look at the Musk Creek Farm, the Benchmark 100, the best race of the afternoon there at the Valley. James, what do you like?
It is a ripping race. There's a lot of horses in form, a lot of tough on paces too. I found it a difficult race to split a couple, those being Pounding and Savannah Cloud. Both winning this prep, both love the Valley as well, but I've just gone with Pounding, the Carr factor, Jamie Carr. I don't think there's anything between them, like I said, similar price as well. So I'm sort of 50-50, but with Carr on 53 kilos, really good map, just maps to stalk the leaders and knows the Valley. Won over this route in soft fashion last prep. Dug deep to score at Flemington last start. I like the way it sort of came back when challenged in the straight there. They put a bit of a gap on third, and also like the Detonator Jack form from 2 back. Even though Detonator Jack was rolled last time, he has been absolutely airborne. So
the mighty Sosibon rolled Detonator Jack.
Yeah, that was a bit of a surprise. He's been a bit of a villain over the years, Sosibon. But yeah, Pounding just ahead of Savannah Cloud. I think those two are the clear standouts, and hard to leave corner pocket out of exotics. It's tough as old boots, that horse.
Where are you at here, Shark?
I went the other way. I went with Savannah Cloud. I just love the little relationship with Madison Lloyd, an apprentice who's riding really well, has formed with this horse. They've just gelled so well together. She knows exactly what he needs, this horse, to win, what position to put him in, when to push the go button, and he responds to her. And you can see that in its last run and the last win at Sandown, where they were challenged. Madison got busy on the horse late, and he found and was holding that challenger to the line. I think he wants a mile again, and I think he's really, really hard to beat here.
Old classic saying, isn't it? Winning form's good form.
It is good form, and he's won 4 in a row. He's been a little revelation in the summer, hasn't he?
Certainly has. So Savannah Cloud for James, your best bets and value bet on the Valley program?
Yeah, best bet goes around in race 4, number 6, Shuffle Dancer. 3 starts this prep have all been really good. Massive maiden winner over 1400 at Sandown at 2 back. Thrashed a horse who had a bit of a rap on him, Ruckerman. Then third in that race, went to Flemington last start and chased home, wrote to Aratki. Third in that race was Ballet Riche, who came out last start and knocked off our best bet at Flemington, Forbidden City, by a bit of a space, actually, 1.5 lengths. So I'm keen on that form line for a benchmark 70. I don't think it's an overly strong race on Saturday. 1500 looks perfect, and small field, I don't think luck will play any sort of factor. So hopefully the best horse wins, and I think that's Shuffle Dancer.
Okay, Shark, what do you like?
I'm looking at the nephew in race 5. I know he's been around the mark and teasing a win, Simon, but I think stepping up to 2,000 is what he wants now. Closed off well last time behind a horse that had his measure in River Plate, but he was so beautifully ridden there by Damien Oliver, going forward and controlling the race. Like the way the nephew closed, this is his chance. I think if he gets beaten here, I might be dropping off. And in the last, shock him over for young Alex Ray down at Cranbourne. He's got a really nice horse here, 2 for 2. By shocking, of course. He won at a mile, he won at 2,000. Both of them he came from a long way back. Recent jump out at Cranbourne was very good. I know he's first up, but I think he might be something here at an each way price that we could play. Maybe a little 1x3 bet.
Sounds like Shockham Over should be playing the Australian Open, not running at Moonee
It does
Valley.
sound like that, doesn't it? That's a really good point. Yeah, representing Belarus or something.
I'm not sure Belarus or Russia we want represented. Just in a minute. James, good to have you chatting Melbourne racing. Look forward to chatting next week.
No worries, I'll be back.
Good on you, Mick. You're staying with me. That was racing in Melbourne. Coming up, a look at the Randwick meeting.
The betting brand for sports fans. That's better. Gamble responsibly.
Okay, time to take a look at racing in Sydney. And the feature at Randwick this week is the Carrington Stakes, the listed race over the 1,400 metres. Chuck, I'll be quite up front. I didn't have a clue. I may as well have a
It was diabolical, wasn't it? Doing the form of this race, and there's winning form in the race, but it's coming from these weird, different benchmark races. The other thing I found in this race, not many of them actually enjoy the track. I think Titanium Power is the only one that you could say likes racing at this venue. A lot of the others are winless after a number of goes, without running terribly, but just not being able to break
No
through.
fresh legs there either. Really.
No, not really.
Those horses
no
having
new
their
blood.
fourth and fifth start this
Yeah.
prep and stepping up 12 ratings points. And
And that's probably why I'd settled on Looks Like Elvis, because he's a horse that has been to the level before and run really well. He's third up into this race. 1,400 metres, I think, is a nice area for him. He's been to Melbourne for that Vobis Gold Bullion at Pakenham, which he ran really well in. Really good run in the Chester Manifold behind Corner Pocket. So he's in good form. 10 goes at the track for 3 placings. I know he hasn't won, and that might sort of irk a few, but he doesn't run poorly there. I just thought it's the old best horse in the race scenario, isn't it? I think with him.
well, I was that perplexed by the race. I couldn't come up with one. I've come up with 4. So I'm having a box trifecta.
Well, this is new
as good as I
territory.
can come
I
up.
like this.
Yeah, well,
it's
let's
about
break
time.
some new territory.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, okay. 2, 3, 4 and 8.
Right.
So the one you like, I've left out. I'm sorry.
Okay.
But still full of respect for you and Brett Preble, who's enjoying his time in Sydney.
Going very,
There's
very
another
well.
little
Yeah, he's going well.
good thing
Full
for
of confidence.
Looks Like Elvis.
And he's a confidence rider, which is a big, big factor for Brett.
Yeah, so 2, 3, 4 and 8 for me a trifecta. Looks like Elvis on top for Shark in the Carrington. A best bet in Sydney, a value bet in Sydney?
We know Gay Waterhouse and Adrian Bott get their horses nice and fit, nice and early. And they've got one in the 9th that I think is going to be just about ready second up, called Star Sparks, number 7. Went to Rose Hill first up, rode the speed, they went at a good tempo. Clearly the horse needed the run under his belt. They went to him and went past him, but he kept staying on. I thought it was a really brave effort. He was only beaten about a length or length and a half. And he was a good on-speed winner a couple of occasions last preparation. So I think second up, he's ready to go from an inside gate with Timmy Clark controlling the speed. He's the best on the card for me.
Okay, and a value bet in Sydney?
We're going to race 4. There's a horse that's back from Hong Kong recently called Helene Leading Star. He raced as Leicester in Australia before he was sold up there, and he was a Group 1 winner of a South Australian Derby, so he's a fair talent. 2 good runs in Melbourne have him ready, I think, for 2,000 metres. I know he's got weight against some horses that are, building towards a winner in good form. Logan Street Lion, Almania was great first up, albeit off nearly a 2-year absence. I'm just banking on the third up factor with Helene Leading Star in that step to 2,000. I think he's a really good each way bet. He's around that $9 mark.
Okay, in that confusing race, the Carrington, number 8, Ruby Tuesday. I think from an each way point of view, if you don't like my trifecta numbers, Ruby Tuesday, you're going to get $20 plus, I think, each way. So it might be something as the day goes on. That's it for Sydney. Coming up, all our tips, best bets, and the big call right after this.
The betting brand for sports fans. That's better. Gamble responsibly.
This is the Big Call, the segment in which we deliver you the tips and the best bets. James Lamb, he's gone to Flemington, the Friday night meeting. Race 3, number 4, Jet Jitsu, very hard to say, Jet Jitsu. Moonee Valley, his best on Saturday, pounding race 8, number 11. His next best, Shuffle Dancer, race 4, number 6. And his best value of the day, OK to Pay, race 3, number 1. Mick?
The Valley, Simon, Savannah Cloud, race 8, number 6, I think is the way I'll go in that feature race. My best is the Nephew, race 5, number 10. My value bet, Shock 'em Over, race 9, number 8. If it doesn't win on Saturday, just keep an eye on it, this prep. He won't be long before he's winning. In the Carrington Stakes at Randwick, I'm with Looks Like Elvis, race 6, number 1. Best bet for me there is Star Sparks, race 9, number 7. And my value bet, around that $9 or $10 mark, is Helene Leading Star, race 4, number 1.
Okay, the rapid racing at Flemington for me, race 6, number 14, Pin Ace, and at Moonee Valley, Corner Pocket in race 8, number 2. There you go, Mick. I think we got through. It was pretty smooth sailing.
Handled it beautifully.
You'll be looking forward to having Matty back next week.
Kind of.
I think you will be. Yeah, thanks for joining us on Punters Inside Run. Hope you back plenty of winners. Don't forget, subscribe below and follow us on socials. We'll see you again next week. Well, I won't. Matty Campbell and Mick will.
The betting brand for sports fans. That's better. Gamble responsibly.